Today, I want to tell a story that can't be told. It was totally randomly written. It has 1,000 shades, lots of different points of view. It's logicless and full of hitches. Although at the end, everything seems to make sense. It's the story of 6 months of solo traveling and 30,000 kilometers covered. Is it a story of courage, of craziness? I don't know. For me, it's just a story of freedom. The problem of telling this story is that you see a pair of feet walking on rocks. While I see that time penguins were swimming next to me. You see a person who laughs, looks around, is thrilled. But I see the hot waterfalls flowing down the rock during the downpour. I see how magical it is to follow the music ending up in an abandoned train turned into a cafe. I see the heart sinking for the best view of Rio de Janeiro from the blue roof of that favela. I don't know if my story can explain the whole days spent crossing swamps. By foot, horse and car, trying to get out of there. Or the hike in the mud, barefoot, to get to a beach right when it starts raining and you need to run towards the last boat that is sailing away. Or the broken foot, when the idea of hiking a mountain at the end of the world the day of Easter seemed brilliant. Each of these images hides stories with which I could fill books. The entrance in Uruguay with a girl hidden under backpacks because she brought a lot of food but forgot the passport. The night walks, the hitchhikes, the borders crossing by foot, and the fights to get on a ferry that, at the end, just brought seasickness. The return of a car rented pretending to know how to drive it, before finding out that the brake was broken. The day that was supposed to be lazy and instead turned into a free tour in the canyons with Argentinian retired people just become new friends. Friends. This is also the story of incredible people. People who entered my life during a bus trip or while I was having breakfast. Some came from the other side of the world and spoke unknown languages, whereas others, there at the other side of the world, came from home. Some were very similar to me, and others seemed so different and strange, incompatible. Some started to speak to me, and others left me the honor of starting hours and hours of conversations. And so we shared adventures that turned us from strangers into friends. And then, among those friends who randomly appeared on my way, there were those who felt so good that used to stay there for a while. Friends who were filling whole days spent exploring, interacting, cooking, playing cards and enjoying sunsets. The road, sooner or later, will call us all, and that way we can't say no to. But how many times after we went through back doors to meet again? Oh yeah, this story is full of enthusiastic, open-minded, spontaneous and easygoing friends who, between one smile and another, share with me everything they had. Friends who could listen to themselves, the others and the universe and who have been a growth and inspiration source. From them, I've learned to believe in good vibes. I've got so many of them without being asked for anything in return, that now I do what I can to pass on as well, because I've realized that's the way happiness spreads out. And some people even ask me if I was sad while traveling alone. Honestly, I've been hardly sad, but I've touched happiness firsthand so many times. This is a super happy story in which I've been walking in forests, beaches, and red deserts. I've climbed salty rocks and touched white caves. I've worked and sweated. Oh, how much I've sweated! But I've always been rewarded by the freshness of the water, drop after drop. I've been cold due to the wind, the altitude, the ice. I've reached blue lakes inside caves. I've seen cities from above and rivers in the jungle. I felt so small facing super high glaciers and huge waterfalls. I've swum in seas and rivers. I've dived in pools, hot springs and salty lakes. I've chased meats from islands and breathed deeply charming atmospheres. Sometimes I was close to snowy volcanoes, but at times there was just a starry sky above me. So many animals crossed my path. They were beautiful, cute, colorful, exotic, strange, dangerous. Some have tried to interact. Others managed to do so, and some others were just there, indifferent, looking at the world or letting the world look at them. I've cooked and tasted lots of typical dishes, from the strangest to the nicest. I've tried new sports and spent sleepless nights. I've toiled, but it has always been worth it for the relaxing moments I've given myself. I've taken buses that carry me far, far away. When it was all dark outside, I was in unknown lands. But the music and the bus motion were a constant relief. I fell asleep among endless steps to find the same landscape once awake. I've crossed oceans of palms, and I've seen the mountains meeting the sea. So, I've arrived in places where the sunsets were different every day. Where the wonder of nature made me wonder why TV exists. Where the stars reflected on the swamps made me live intensively unphotographable instants. Places where I felt grateful of being there in that moment, alone, between the ocean waves and the purple sky. There were those instants when the world flows slowly to make me enjoy the taste of eternity. So, this is my story. But my story is not this one. My story is much, much more. However, as I told you, it's impossible to tell. There's one only way to understand it: living it. Go, write your story and it will all become clear. Because you won't be able to tell my same adventures, of course. But you'll perfectly know what I'm talking about.